we're going to get started. Well, before we start, we have a public hearing. So I'd like to call to order the public hearing for Tuesday, October the 3rd at 7 o'clock. We're at the multi-purpose room at Anmore Elementary. Call the meeting to order. I have an opening statement. Good evening. Thank you all for coming tonight for the public hearing on the proposed amendments to the Village of Anmore zoning bylaw. This hearing is being held under the authority of Section 464 of the Local Government Act. Council for the Village of Anmore has given first and second readings to zoning bylaw amendment bylaw number 685-2023 and directed that this public hearing be held. I will now ask Michelle to confirm that the public hearing notice has been provided.
Yes, I can confirm that the notice was provided pursuant to the Local Government Act and our public notice bylaw, and we did not receive any submissions.
Good. Staff will now present a summary of the proposed bylaw, and following the summary, the floor will be open to anyone in attendance that wishes to present his or her views on the proposed bylaw. Please note, this is not a question and answer period, and it is not an opportunity to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw with council, staff, or others in attendance. We want to assure that all attendees who wish to speak tonight are provided the opportunity to do so. If you wish to provide comments, please come to the podium when invited to do so and begin your presentation by clearly stating your name and address for the official record. A 3-minute time limit will apply to each speaker, and second opportunity will be provided after everyone has been given a chance to provide comments for the first time. Before the public hearing concludes, I will make a call for speakers 3 times before concluding the hearing. Once the public hearing is concluded, the Local Government Act requires that Council not accept any further input from the public related to the proposed amendment bylaw prior to consideration for the next reading of the bylaw. I now ask Mr. Boyd, Manager of Development Services, to present the zoning bylaw amendment. Mr. Boyd. Thank you,
Your Worship. So before you today is an infill application for civic address of 2301 Sunnyside Road. The development group have reviewed this application, and it's in accordance with our infill policy. It meets the less than 2 acre size of parcel. It is a relatively flat land. The existing structure, when come to subdivision, would still be in accordance with the zoning bylaw. So we presented to council a few weeks ago to review this lot and provide second reading for this lot under the infill application.
Good, thank you. I'll now open the floor for the comments from the public. Anybody like to provide comments on bylaw number 685-2023?
There you go. Brad Engel, 65 Elementary Road. Sorry. I'm just wondering lot size for subdividing to 1/3 acre. 1/3 parcels.
I'm sorry, we cannot answer any questions. This is just comments that you have to provide during this. This is a public hearing, sorry.
Okay, all right.
Okay. I'll call anybody else who would like to provide comments regarding the proposed for a second time. We can't take questions, we can only take comments.
Oh, okay. Oh,
if you want to provide comments, you're more than welcome to. If you could just name and address, please.
Gary Ludlow, 2212 Sunnyside. I was looking at the map, and it's got Sunnyside Road going straight through and Sunnyside Road coming up. At present, it's Ludlow Lane. Could you please tell me if that is null and void now?
I can't.
You can't? Okay, well then I'll pose this one. We've been on this corner for 100 years, over 100 years, and Hal Weinberg was kind enough to initiate Ludlow Lane in memory of my father, who served on the GVRD group up here for a number of years. And it was received by myself and my family very well. If it is to be removed, I would like to see it somewhere.
Mr.
Sure.
I would suggest, if possible, This is only to do with the rezoning of this property that's in specifically here.
Okay.
I recognize that your question deals with something outside of this property.
okay.
So if I could make a suggestion,
Sure.
and that is, we don't have a very big agenda tonight, so I would imagine at the end of it will be public question period.
Oh, okay.
You could then pose that question at that point in time,
Okay.
because
Fair enough.
it would be interesting to hear it from some of our engineers.
Sure.
Okay?
It's just, some people
Yeah.
live here.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you kindly.
Okay. I will now ask for a third time, any comments regarding the proposed zoning amendment? See none, I will now close the public hearing. That's it? Okay. Okay. Okay, we're going to get started with the regular council meeting agenda. It's for Tuesday, October the 3rd. Before we get started, the Village in Anmore would like to open our meeting by recognizing the many Indigenous peoples of our area, including the following First Nations, with communities that are located in the region that we now know as Metro Vancouver: Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Coquitlam. Further, we would like to honor the important place in history occupied by the many territorial keepers of these lands and waters around us since time immemorial. Call the meeting to order. Approval of the agenda. The recommendation would read.
That the agenda be approved as circulated.
Could I get someone to move? Second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Public input. Public is allowed to encourage civic engagement. Council welcomes your participation in the public portion of the meeting. We want to remind members of the public that matters raised here are for Council's consideration and should be constructively focused on agenda items only and not individuals. To ensure that we're providing a positive work environment in alignment with Council's strategic plan and the Village Respectful Workplace Policy, we ask that Council is engaged in a manner that is respectful and productive. Please limit comments to 2 minutes and save any questions for the question period later on in the evening. So this public input is just any comments regarding anything that is on this specific agenda. No? Okay, we'll move on then. We have no delegations. Minutes of the regular council meeting held on September 12th, 2023. The recommendation would read.
That the minutes of the regular council meeting held on September 12th, 2023 be adopted as circulated.
Get someone to move that. Moved, seconded. Any discussion? See none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. We're now on to business. Any business arising from the minutes? No. Consent agenda. Any council member wishes to remove anything to further discuss during the consent agenda? We only have 2 items. No? I'll move. Could I get someone to move the consent agenda? Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Legislative reports. 2301 Sunnyside Road zoning amendment, bylaw number 685-2023. Mr. Boyd.
It's like deja vu. Thank you, Your Worship. So this is in relation to the public hearing just completed for this infill application for 2301. We're here tonight to receive the third and final reading. Sorry, just third reading, sorry. Third reading tonight.
Good. Could I get someone to, so the motion would be, what would be the motion that you would put forth, Mr.
That
Boyd?
council give third reading to Anmore zoning amendment bylaw 685-2023.
Could I get someone to move that? Moved, seconded. I'll open up for any discussion on council. See none? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. We have no unfinished business. We're on to 11A, award of supply and delivery of a 19,500 pound GVW truck. Report dated September 29th, 2023 from our Chief Administrative Officer. Ms. Elrick.
Thank you. So the truck tender was put out. This is for the F550 brining truck. The budget that was approved as part of the 5-year financial plan was $200,000. We received 3 3 replies to our request for proposal and ranked them. Metro Motors came out as the #1 ranking and under budget as well. So the recommendation this evening would be that the contract award of the supply and delivery of one 19,500-pound GVW truck for a total contract price of $176,975 and 86 cents, excluding GST, be awarded to Metro Motors Ltd.
Someone to move that? Moved, seconded. Open up for discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to Mayor's report. Myself and Councillor Cryer attended the UBCM about a week and a half ago. We did meet with BC Hydro. We had a good meeting in the morning. I would discuss that we talked a little bit about Bunsen Lake, but that was a follow-up meeting which I had today, which I will get to, but we did talk about a couple things regarding the operations of the lake, and one of the things is there an opportunity for the village to harness any electricity out of the outflow, which is pipe which is coming from Coquitlam Lake. That is a fairly significant pipe that fills Bunsen Lake, as Bunsen Lake is a man-made lake, with a road right there and a power line right there. And so they said that, and I've asked them today if they would bring somebody to a council meeting to further discuss, just to see what the challenges were. I know many years ago, I brought this up once before, and they weren't interested in the smaller power generations and doing these. There's a lot of companies that you could actually hire on, will do a lot of they'll do the whole work, and then they do take a share of whatever the power is. So now with electricity in such high demand, Hydro has changed that philosophy, and they're looking for more of these small run-of-river projects is what they call. But there wouldn't be any environmental aspect to this because of the fact that the pipe is already there and it's just water dumping into the lake. To be able to harness some of that would be kind of interesting.
Some comments to that?
Sure.
Just a little bit of human interest there, right along what Mayor McCune is talking about. I may have mentioned this before, but in the summer I visited a little community called Sandon. And it's a historic community. It was developed in the 1800s, and it was pretty much washed away by a river. So pretty much the whole town is owned by one person. And he continues to run the oldest continuously operating hydroelectric generating station in BC. And it was built in the 1890s. And all the equipment in there is from the turn of the century. And it just sits there ticking along, producing power. He's had a hell of a time selling his power to Hydro. I think he gets about 2 cents a kilowatt hour. And he's been fighting Hydro for this on this issue for years. And Hydro is finally starting to come around because they haven't been supportive of these independent power producers for a few years because they're in favor of the big dams. Well, now to meet their green energy requirements, they have to start looking at this stuff because they don't have the infrastructure. So it's actually really timely that you mentioned this, Mayor McEwen, because they may actually look at this. Because as you said, the pipe is already there, but there's not a lot of head there. But there's potential. Good. So just sort of an interesting story.
No, thank you very much. And then I also, when I was at UBCM and talking to BC Hydro, I talked to a little bit as well about allowing our council an opportunity to go and tour the facility, which has some challenges because of the age of it. So they are looking into that. So I will make sure to bring that out. Update on the Village Hub. As you see, the septic system is in. There still needs to be a fair bit of work done in Spirit Park. And, you know, we're looking probably, it's the beginning of October now, probably about another month and a half, I would say, probably mid-November-ish. I'm getting a nod. So drywall is up, they're taping, they're mudding, it's coming along pretty well. But, and while I was talking to BC Hydro today, I told them about this challenge of the hydro hookup. And I said, I will have to do whatever needs to be done. And they said, if we can get a job number right now, they will pre-book us. So when we say they're ready to go, they'll be here. And I will be on the phone with them. So that's, we don't want, because normally what happens, if I get this correct, there's no power to the building right now, Chris, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So there's only temporary power to the building right
Yeah.
now. And what will happen once once the electrical contractor is kind of gone through the building and everything is ready for hookup, they do a final review, and once it's been signed off from a permitting perspective, they then will contact BC Hydro to say, hey, we now need our permanent power, which would mean dropping in a transformer and the actual hookup happening. Now, typically, it can have anything between 7 and 45 days for that to occur. So. And it's on the critical path that we need that final power to be in to run elevators, to have occupancy permits and what have you. So it's one of those critical items of, as soon as it's ready, we need to get it in and get it hooked so we can actually move into the building.
I made it made them very, very aware that that was going to be critical, because we want to have the grand opening at the beginning of December is sort of the plan that we have right now. So, but we can't put a definitive date, but they will be. They said if we can get that job number over, they will put it in the queue. That was that. Bunsen Lake. Myself and Miss Elric, were in a Teams meeting with BC Hydro, more about the operations. Some challenging things that we do have. I was reached out by the store. For many, many years, they had been storing canoes down at the lake and then renting them out. Bunsen Lake can no longer facilitate this because they're doing a bunch of work right down there by the docks and that. So they've given notice and stuff like that. So the store is going to have to work out something. I did talk to Mr. Littlewood this afternoon, and he recognizes that it's been there for a long time, but something's got to change there and that. So they're going to have to store the canoes up at the store, and there was a little bit of concern as well that they weren't getting the same amount of traffic from the store because the lineups weren't so big. And I said, well, the lineups, we tried to eliminate them because of a safety issue. So it's kind of, and that, but all I will say is this, is please support our local store if we can. They need us, and I know I talk to a lot of people, and they go down there and get their butter and eggs, and they're nice, they're great people, and they really provide a good thing. So please don't forget about them in the winter. Use them as much as you can. And then we talked about the amount of some of the challenges. They're going to get more of a registration system in place for no-shows to demerit people for no-shows. I had suggested possibly a lot of restaurants now, when you're booking reservations, they want a visa to be holding the reservation. That may be an option. They're going to look at many different things. I said I did hear some complaints from people that the Wi-Fi wasn't great down there, so when people would show up there and have their barcode on their phone, they weren't able to pull it up. So they're going to look at something about a static, what was it called?
A static QR code.
A static QR code that then they could bring up. So because there is an issue with Wi-Fi and cell coverage right at the entrance gate there where they were checking people. Anyway, I told them the success, the comments I've received from the fire chief, who's been thinking it's been a game changer, comments from the Neil Romer, the RCMP, same thing. We do want to extend it a little bit because we got caught a little bit in May with the weather being so good. And that, but all in all, it's been very, it's achieved all the goals. It's increased the safety, health within the community and that. So, and they were really great to work with and that. So they're going to try and tweak a few things in regards to even make it better next year and make the experience even better for people for coming and going. So, doesn't look like there will be no fireworks this year at Halloween. We are. At Halloween, we're going to be still in a construction site, but I would sure like to hear out from the families in Birchwind, as well as I'll be reaching to some of my neighbors in Ravenswood if they want to continue, and we can, put some barricades on the road to prevent people and make it kind of a pedestrian safe zone for trick-or-treating and that. It's been an incredible success since we started doing this probably many years ago, that it becomes a walkable, families are walking up and down, kids can go and that, but we will not be doing any sort of festivities at the hall this year because we just won't be ready. So that's all I have for Mayor's report. I'll turn over to Councillor's report. Councillor Cryer.
Thank you. A couple of things. As Mayor McEwen mentioned, I was also at UBCM and did the hydro meeting. I also, along with other meetings I had, I did a tour of the port, which was very interesting. We hopped on a boat. We were there for, I think it was like an hour and a half, and went all the way around under Lions Gate, or just around Lions Gate and up to the Memorial Bridge. What is that called?
Secondaries?
No, the iron workers, yeah, and then looped around. Well, it was very interesting, and it was a same thing. An iron workers memorial. Is this a learning moment for
No,
me?
it can be called both. It's
Okay,
like
it's a learning
Sunnyside
moment.
Road and
Okay, and Ludlow Lane. Okay. Okay, it's so easy to do. But that was very interesting. One thing I'd like to recognize, or one person I'd like to recognize is Councillor Trish Mendeo from Coquitlam. She was installed as the new president of UBCM, so a little local flavor there. So that was very nice. Congratulations to her. You'll see we have our orange shirts on. Thank you, staff, for making arrangements for that. We did have a nice group photo taken with staff and council. That was last week, and I believe that was posted on our Facebook page, social media pages. Oh yeah, hot off the press. Ugly sweater.
the new hats.
Just announced today. Registration is live Saturday, December 2nd, starting at 10 a.m. Register quickly. It will sell out. It's the 10th annual. There's a little team competition going on. PAC, Anmore Elementary PAC, is putting together a team, so maybe there's some other teams that want to participate, but this is the toque, the one and only, so I'll have to give it back. But when you register and you're running or walking, you get a toque. So it's the second time we've hosted it here in the village, so we're very excited about it. It's a good opportunity for people to see how beautiful it is here, and we'll have hopefully a new village hall that will, yes, Chris Boyd says yes. So that's big news today. So congratulations, Jordan.
I'm going to have to tell you, the toque isn't as ugly as years past.
It's not at
actually
all
quite
ugly.
Fashionable.
Yeah, last year's was
There's
ugly.
no fluorescent in it
No.
this year.
It goes well though with my orange shirt, right? Yeah, so.
I will
yes.
tell you, last year, the ugly sweater, it was amazing how much people in the community got involved, and they were setting up like drink stands at the end of their driveways and that. It was really something. It was great to hear. So anyway, thank you. Any other council reports? No? Councillor Weberink.
I'm probably too early on this, but somebody mentioned Halloween in Birchwine. Well, it's going crazy. We used to get about 60 kids in Birchwine, and I think last year we had over 200. So it's become a thing, and all the neighbors are participating more and more, and I've upped my display, and then my neighbors are starting to up their display, and pretty soon it's going to be Halloween Disneyland. So I invite everybody to come check it out.
Good, thank you. Councillor Richardson, no? Okay. We'll move on now to Chief Administrator Officer's report. Ms. Elright.
Thank you. So I just wanted to remind everybody this evening that our photo contest is still open, so please submit all your photos of the amazing village of Anmore by October 15th. Details are on the village website, or you can call or pop into the hall. And also, just another reminder to be bear aware this time of year. The bears are still very active. The village will be working with a volunteer organization in the Tri-Cities. It's Tri-City Bear Aware, and we'll be providing information, but just to let folks know that they will be doing some door-to-door with our Bear Aware pamphlets in areas that conservation has identified that are particularly problematic. So we'll be posting out information on that where they will be, but expect to see some folks out and about just giving people some reminders. That's it for me, thanks.
Thank you. We have some information items, a letter dated from Representative Advocacy, and then we also have about a public hearing at the Village about their official community plan bylaw. I was just asked Ms. Elright, were we asked to provide comments on their OCP?
Through the mayor, it was just the notice that we were provided, which is a bit unusual. We have not been provided with public hearing notices in the past from other communities. So, but since they did provide it to us, we included it in the agenda.
Yeah.
They had sent out for comment some time back, and I think council had provided comment, or they put it on pause during the election. It was some time ago, but this is just now the actual public hearing is happening.
I'm just wondering, if we did provide comments, could we then submit them for the public hearing?
I will have to look at the notice and see when the public hearing is.
No, yeah, we'll look it up. And,
I'll look into it.
And then email dated September for the Honorable Mitzi Dean, Minister of Children and Family Development, regarding foster family. I'll now open up to public question period. Mr. Ludlow, if you wanted to come up. Come on up. Hope.
I probably don't need a microphone.
No, but if you could just list your name, just for the record, public record.
The people online might want to get your question.
Oh, you have to push the blue button, push the button there. It'll go blue, right in front there.
Doesn't look like the button.
Doesn't look like a button, just the very front. It looks like a button.
And you do read this
Oh.
to some of the people that are listening at
Oh.
home to hear.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Gary Ludlow, 2212 Sunnyside Road. Mayor, I do apologize for the beforehand.
No worries
I've
at
been
all.
working for Hydro for 25 years, and we've been electrocuted once prior to that, so I'm a little slow. With regards to Sunnyside Road, I didn't know whether it is being changed from Ludlow Lane to Sunnyside, and my question was, if it's possible, will the name be put on another street?
So I have been here since, I've owned property here since 2000.
Uh-huh.
And it's always been Ludlow Lane to me.
Thank
So
you.
I'm going to pass it over to our Director of Development Services, who deals with this from an engineering perspective.
So the reason that it shows Ludlow Lane, does not show Ludlow Lane on this is because officially, through the public record, it is actually listed as Sunnyside Road. Unofficially, it's always referred to as Ludlow Lane. So if you live on that road right now, under your driving license, it would say Sunnyside Road, not Ludlow.
Well, but my driveway is a driveway that's been on family land for over 100 years. So that lane, as I say, Hal Weinberg called it that because prior to that, it was just bush until Doug Spence brought his house up.
All I can tell you is I didn't change it. That's what it's been there for quite some time. Now, there is a way to change it officially to Ludlow Lane. That would be through a council resolution.
I believe Hal Weinberg did that.
Okay, well,
Unfortunately, he's gone.
What I think Chris is saying is that he might have done it, but it never got properly registered.
registered, yes.
So why don't we
Because in all
ask to look into it, because, yeah.
all the maps that are out there,
Yeah.
my lady brought up Google, it's got Ludlow Lane. I don't know how to Google.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to look into it and
Okay,
find out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The sign, after it was removed about 3 times by someone unknown, I bought that last one and I put it up and I welded it to the post. So when they tried to take it over, they knocked the whole post over.
So can I respond to that comment? It is not because we don't want it to be called Ludlow Lane. The reason is through emergency response pieces, is that because those properties are listed as Sunnyside Road, so emergency response will only understand if you said to 2192 would be one of the residents up that laneway, is that if they refer to it as Ludlow, it will not come up onto their record, so they wouldn't know where to send people. So I know it's a little bit funny in Anmore that it's a volunteer fire service, but say an ambulance service needed to come, they wouldn't know officially where that residence is. So that's why it needs to be done officially to actually have that sign posted up there as Ludlow Lane.
Fair enough. I don't want anybody to get hurt on my family behalf, but if it would be moved, my question was, could you please put it on another post?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the history and find out exactly. And if it hasn't been, then we'll be in touch, and
I thank
there's
you
a process
kindly for
that we could do.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
welcome.
folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you for
very
coming
much.
out.
Appreciate it.
Any other public questions?
Nancy Maloney, 1724 East Road. And related to the comment that the bear population is still very active in the village, our present trash and compost system is actually very bear unfriendly. And we are actually creating a whole population of garbage bears who ultimately often become dead bears. And this will only worsen, as Anmore grows in terms of the population. So this is actually one way in which Belcarra does a far superior job than does Anmore in terms of protecting wildlife. So we actually lived in Belcarra for 5 years, 90 to 95, and used the system, which has subsequently been improved and expanded, where you actually take your garbage, your pond compost, your recyclables, you take them now to like a locked depot, which, as I understand it now, is closed 1 day a week. Other than that, the convenience factor is that people can do this, at their personal convenience, not at a specific time, which may not be suitable for those people's schedule. And I know that many, many years ago, I'm not sure exactly when, Anmore did have such a system and then converted it to a pickup system, which people no doubt were pleased by because you just put your things out on the curb. But the problem is that system is working very poorly. And I know it would be very difficult probably to get people to change over dramatically to a Belcarra style system. But so my suggestion is that Anmore could pivot to a hybrid system where persons who for various reasons have difficulty or in an area where the bear situation is problematic, that we do have a locked area, which obviously residents can access, but bears cannot, so that your garbage and compost are protected from the wildlife, and we don't have the situation that is becoming increasingly more problematic, by the year. So I would like council to consider this.
Good. Thank you.
And I had a second question, which is, so my question was, could this be considered in terms of a beneficial thing for the residents and for our wildlife? And my other question is, what is being done to recognize the Weinberg family? So this was actually mentioned at a council meeting in the summer, and a number of people, Lisa volunteered, I volunteered, to be part of a committee that would discuss possibilities for recognition of the Weinberg family and their significant contribution to Anmore. And then, it just all evaporated, and nothing was ever heard of again. So could that be revisited?
Yeah, we're going to be announcing, we just may formalize the committees, so that would be something that one of the committees could certainly look into, absolutely. So.
When will that happen?
There should be a notice going out in the following week about all the committee, and then as soon as the Village Hub gets going, then we'll be able to start hosting meetings there, because we have nowhere to host them right now, so. Okay.
Pending that, cannot the committees meet in this room?
This is difficult because of the janitorial situation. So,
is there a cost to the village when this room is used?
on holidays and weekends.
Okay, but otherwise not?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Any other public questions before we adjourn? You were patient. Thank you.
Brad Engels, 65 Elementary Road. Okay, I have several things, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk to him about it, but I would like to address the
could you make them in questions?
Yeah, it's going to be a question. Okay. It's regarding the new business, number 11, the award of a 19,500 LB GVW truck for, what is it, $176,000. My question is why do we need such a large truck here in Anmore? And do any of the attachments that we have for the smaller trucks fit this large truck, or are we going to have to foot the bill for more attachments to fit this truck that Anmore has spent $180,000 on? So there's two questions there. Why do we need the truck? And do any of the attachments we have at this point fit this truck, or are we gonna have to buy new attachments for it?
Mr. Boyd, do you know? Okay. I would prefer to go through, yeah, just because, oh, is it Karen? Okay, sorry, Karen.
Thank you. Through the mayor. So the details of the truck were discussed during the budgeting process earlier this year when the budget was approved. As far as components for the truck, the truck does come with a lot of the mechanisms and equipment for brining already incorporated into the truck. So we currently are not brining now, but this truck will enable us to do that. So we wouldn't have that equipment on other vehicles as of now. And sorry, lastly,
It also has a bill
Well,
of
is there a plow attachment?
Yeah, there
is,
comes with
yes.
plow. Yeah,
This truck
Yes.
comes with a plow attachment?
yeah, yeah.
correct,
Okay, and it comes with a brining system?
correct,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Okay,
It's also set up
okay,
for all those different components that we have, to
Okay.
be able to swap in and out interchangeable.
okay. And then, so are the rest of the trucks gonna be redundant to Anmore? Are they gonna be sold off, or?
No, they'll still be part of the snow fleet because this truck won't be able to get into some areas of the village.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds fair. Good deal. I just want to go back on the last meeting we had and your comment, Mayor. With all due respect, you told me that I was going to be removed if I continued my behavior. I was simply reacting to one of the public's
Yeah.
response to me, which you didn't comment on his behavior, but you did mine.
I have to be
And I
honest.
take that very offensively, because I didn't do anything wrong. I was simply stating some things that took place. And you attacked me and not the person that was throwing the vulgar signs at me, right?
So, just to
I-
be clear, Mr. Ingles, I did not see any of what went on. I just simply heard your outburst, and I just simply said that will not be acceptable here. I'm sorry, I did not see what went on
Well,
at
lots
all.
of people did. And,
Okay,
and-
I didn't know.
well, then maybe at that point you should have gone, instead of attacking me, perhaps it would have been a better idea to investigate that a little bit better, instead of putting me under the spotlight and making me feel like I'd done something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong.
You were talking out of order. You were not coming to the chair. You were not being recognized, and so that's why.
Well, I
said
come
it
to
that-
these
Can
public
I gotta finish here, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, I cannot allow the room to get out of control. I'm sorry if you took that as that it was a personal to you. It was to me, to the whole gallery in general. It was a very, very full house. So, and I'm sorry, I did not see what went on at all. All I
Well,
said, heard was
everybody else
you.
did, Mayor.
Pardon me?
A lot of other people did, and
I-
they've commented to me about that.
Okay,
And
So
you can
anyway,
turn a blind eye to it. The simple fact is I come here to express my feelings and portray my concerns.
Okay.
As you say in the public meeting, we have a right to come here and talk this way and not be badgered or
100%, and that's what,
You know,
you
and
were
that-
not, can I finish, please?
well, you're not letting me finish.
Okay, go ahead and then I'll speak.
Okay, thank you. I feel that you owe me an apology for what took place. Regardless if you didn't see it, he was right in line with you. There's no podium or anything in the way, so maybe you didn't see it. Maybe you didn't. And I can appreciate that. But the fact is I deserve an apology for that. Because I'm going to come here and I'm going to start.
Do you have a question, Mr. Ingles?
Yes, I do.
Okay, could you get to it, please?
Okay, all right. I would like to know, with all due respect, Polly.
Please, what is her,
gonna-
Councillor Cryer, please?
Yeah, Council Cryer.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Why do you spend so much time at all of these functions? Do they bring Anmore any benefit? Does Anmore benefit from any of these UBC functions or going to the all of these things that you just finished discussing? Does Anmore benefit from this?
Yes.
How?
I sit on all of the social tables. That is my role here at the council table.
Okay.
and that it gives me an opportunity to sit with the rest of the folks that live in
Okay.
different communities at those tables. It's
Okay.
very beneficial.
Okay, how does that benefit Anmore?
It
How-
helps
how
me
does
do
it
my
benefit-
job.
Pardon me?
It helps me do my job.
Okay,
Mr. Ingles?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know that you really
okay.
want an
I
answer.
think you're going down a road here.
no.
Council, can I, you
I'm
need to be
addressing
quiet.
the things that you
Okay, I'm going to
mentioned
ask
on
you to
this.
leave then, right now, because you're not being quiet, you're not respecting me speaking now.
Okay,
Okay? To attack one of our counselors who works on the task force for homelessness. We have a homeless problem here as well as anybody in the Tri-City News, and she's our representative, and the hours that she puts in over the holidays and during, just the other day, she opened, they're opening up the cold weather thing, I think is part of what we do in the community, as a Tri-City community member. I'm going to get back to what you said to me earlier. I never saw what went on. You can say whatever you want. I'm trying to run a meeting and keep decorum in here. Who did I hear yelling out? Was you. I asked you. I said, we will not accept this in this meeting, or I will ask those people to leave. That goes to everyone. I will not be apologizing any further to you, other than to say, I did not see what happened. All I heard was what I saw, okay? So do you have any other questions?
I
You've
do.
already had two.
I do.
Okay,
I
I'll
have
give you
more
one more,
questions.
and then that's it.
I started off my conversation with Ms. Greer,
Counselor Creer, please.
Counselor
Yeah.
Greer. I said, with all due respect, I wasn't badgering her. I was simply asking her function and what it has to
Can you
do
go
with
on
that.
to your next question, or I'm going to ask you to leave?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Perhaps I should just sit down right now?
Your point. Thank you. Anybody else? Motion to adjourn. Move. Seconded. All those in favor? Carried unanimously.